Hey, you watch your mouth right now. You don't stand over here and scream. I'm the one that's waiting for food from you.
Loud, fiery, and easily irritated, Scott Leibfried was the blue team sous chef for the first 10 seasons of Hell's Kitchen. The Johnson and Wales University graduate worked in the US Northeast and Europe before taking a job at the prestigious Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills in 1997. A few years later, he moved to London and went to work for Chef Ramsay, before appearing on our screens as his right-hand man for the first time in 2005. Viewers first saw Scott's anger during Season 1, when Andrew tried to cheat his way out of one of Gordon's punishments. After losing a taste test challenge, Gordon locked the blue team's storeroom, with their chicken inside. Instead of punching in a combination code to unlock the door each time they needed access, Andrew thought he could save time by taping the lock open. Unfortunately for him, sous chef Scott happened to be passing.
Get that fucking tape off of there and get the fuck back in there. You think I'm fucking stupid? I'm not stupid like you.
But just a couple of weeks later, he revealed the softer side when he took time to advise the final 3 contestants on how to elevate their special dishes.
You have some great stuff to work with. It's just
That's why I'm sitting here looking at the
break out of the norm a little bit. That's what you should be thinking about.
Though he was happy to act as a mentor, he had little patience for mistakes. In Season 4, Ben was on the receiving end of his temper when his salmon dish wasn't up to scratch.
Salmon medium?
What's wrong with that salmon?
Yeah, it's a little...
Why would you give it to me if it's burnt?
In Season 8's Lewis was chewed out for his poor hygiene standards. When the pork chop he was about to serve was still pink in the middle, Lewis grabbed it and walked over to Scott to explain. But he made a rookie mistake.
You can't even put it on a pan, you goddamn slob. You're gonna walk around with a pork chop in your hands like that? Get it in the fucking oven!
In an interview, Scott admitted that while he was happy to help the contestants improve, sometimes he was also happy to let them fail.
It's really important for these people to learn something or to even, decide that maybe this isn't something that they want to do when they thought it would.
Chef Ramsay is known for being able to handle himself in the kitchen, and doesn't find it hard to get his message across, especially when he's angry. But on the rare occasions that a contestant isn't listening, sous chef Scott has also been known to act as his backup, and has proved that his voice and temper can be just as big as Gordon's. When Raj ran out of the sole on the fish station, Ramsay told him to go into the dining room to apologize to the customers. But Raj was worried about leaving the kitchen in his dirty chef's jacket, and was fumbling with his apron.
Listen, fuck off out there, will you? I can't...
Put it down and get out there!
There was a fair amount of sympathy for Raj over his treatment, as many viewers felt he was a scapegoat, and the lack of fish was an under-ordering issue caused by Chef Ramsay himself. Not every contestant took Scott's dressing downs quite so well. In Season 9, Monterey found it hard to keep his mouth shut when Scott's criticisms became personal. Monterey was having problems with his sea bass entree. Scott stepped in to patiently explain the correct technique to Monterey, leaving the fish on the spatula. But Monterey insisted there was nothing he could have done to save the fish. So Scott explained for a final time.
I understand.
Do you? Then fucking do it! Then do
Then
it!
it's done then.
Fuck you!
Well, fuck you too then.
Amazingly, Chef Scott didn't retaliate any further. Season 5's Charlie managed to avoid an angry outburst from Scott when he set his cloth on fire, and failed to notice, even after Gordon shouted to him twice. The sous chef calmly stepped in to deal with the blaze, and hand out some friendly advice.
Get it in the water, Scott, please, before he sets the place on fire.
Doing my best, chef. That's your best. You might want to rethink your best a little bit.
In Season 8, Trev and Sabrina got off to a rocky start working on the appetizers station together. When the first dishes of the evening were rejected at the pass, their bickering, which had become a constant soundtrack in the kitchen, escalated. As the heat began to rise and tempers flared, Trev raised his voice and yelled at his teammates. Scott quickly stepped in, telling him to watch his mouth.
You don't stand over here and scream, I'm the one that's waiting for food from you. Get your shit together and cook a pasta!
In Season 7, Benjamin made a similar mistake. Benjamin was having a rough service, with Ramsay berating him for staying too quiet in the kitchen.
He's not even talking to me now.
Are you okay?
He's not even talking to me.
I try to communicate, and it's hard to stay clear.
As Gordon stepped away from the past for a moment, sous chef Scott stepped up to keep the orders moving. But Benjamin decided this was the perfect opportunity to demonstrate his leadership skills by calling out the next ticket. Telling him he was a good cook, but a terrible leader, Scott angrily accused him of trying to steal his job, which he wasn't capable of doing.
Get the fuck over there and don't ever come up to my pass again and try to take my fucking place!
Benjamin sensibly decided to stay away from the pass and stay out of Scott's way for the rest of the service. When Andy's raw chicken was the only thing holding up the final table for week 4's dinner service, he was already feeling the pressure to refry it fast. But a furious Chef Scott decided to get up close and personal to get the message across even more clearly.
You get that ready by the time the rest of this fucking table is ready to go. You got it? Yes, sir. Go!
The dressing down worked. Andy got the chicken cooked right on time, and the blue team went on to win the service. During this time, Gordon also needed Scott's support outside of Hell's Kitchen. In 2008, Scott helped Gordon when he encountered a kitchen nightmare in South Bend, Indiana, by the name of J. Willie's Bar and Grill. The restaurant's owners had left its day-to-day running to their friend John, who struggled without a proper chef, and instead served up canned goods and jarred sauces. Chef Ramsay sent in 4 of his top chefs to lift the previously low standards in the kitchen and support Gordon's plan to pull them out of their $1.2 million debt by transforming the restaurant into a barbecue house. While his decorators overhauled the dining room, Scott and his colleagues were on hand to deliver a day of intensive training for the inexperienced kitchen staff.
We will be ready for the relaunch of J. Willie's tonight.
Though the relaunch was a success and the kitchen ran much more smoothly after Scott's intervention, the restaurant closed just a year later. In 2010, Scott popped up again in a Californian episode of Kitchen Nightmares at Lido di Manhattan Beach. Owner Lisa had a business degree and 0 industry experience when she bought the restaurant at age 23. She inherited the kitchen staff who served food that was largely frozen, microwaved, and basically inedible. And the kitchen was filthy.
You may have bought the restaurant at 23, my darling, but you're not running it. Grow up, Lisa, will you?
When Lisa returns from crying in the bathroom, they're ready to create a clean working environment, a tighter kitchen team, and a fresh new menu. But during relaunch night, the going got tough, and the chefs got going.
Hello?
We're giving up. Bye.
Arturo?
We're giving up, sir.
Yeah, I know you're giving
Okay.
up. Why? Why?
Gordon knew exactly who to call. He introduced Chef Scott as his right-hand man, who would step in as a consultant for a month to rescue the restaurant. Ramsay persuaded the chefs to come back and help, and Scott leapt into action, immediately energizing and lifting the atmosphere in the kitchen.
Hey, is that prosciutto pizza in the oven? Okay, how much? 3 minutes? 4 minutes? 3 minutes.
As promised, Scott stayed at the restaurant for a few weeks to train the chefs, and his tone was noticeably different when he was away from the pressure of Hell's Kitchen.
That's for the clams and mussels? Yeah. Okay?
Keep it here, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
No problem.
After Chef Scott's intensive training, Lisa was able to keep her original chefs on to run the kitchen, and Lido di Manhattan Beach is still open today, 20 years after she took over. Back in Hell's Kitchen, Scott had little patience for stupid mistakes, and found it hard to control his temper with Giacomo in Season 2 when he found what he thought was a fault with the oven. The team had got off to a flying start, but Giacomo was struggling to produce the Wellingtons from his station. When he removed them from the oven and they were still cold, he went to Chef Scott for some help with the faulty equipment. Except it turned out that it wasn't the oven that had a problem.
You just noticing this now?
No, I noticed it earlier.
Dude, you don't have the fucking gas on, stupid!
Wow, that was embarrassing. And Scott's disbelief at the rookie mistake was pretty well justified. He had a similar reaction when Dave spaced out on the garnish station in Season 6.
I'm going up with your garnish.
Hey, you don't even know what you're doing because you're cooking something we don't even fucking need!
Scott also had little patience for overconfidence. A couple of weeks later, the blue team were a man down, but as they prepped for dinner service, Garrett was sure they could still win the service, despite the women having beaten them on the blind taste test due to his mistake.
Red team's in trouble.
Don't jinx yourself.
Ain't no jinx, that's confidence.
That's right.
While the blue team technically won the service, Garrett probably should have taken more notice of Chef Scott's warning, because his station didn't run smoothly, and Gordon was not happy.
Oh, fuck off you fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee-danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
Some viewers felt that Scott was too aggressive with the contestants, and there were moments that seemed to get a little too much negative attention for him, because they went on to be deleted after the first airing. In Season 3, Rock Harper made it to the final 2, and selected Josh to be on his team for the last service. The pair's relationship had been a roller coaster throughout the season, and came to a head in Week 7 when Josh had a disastrous service. And Chef Ramsay instructed Rock to help him out, which he didn't.
I will need some major help coming up, alright?
Nevertheless, Rock chose Josh for his team, and was determined to set him up for a good service, with a positive pep talk.
If I didn't trust you, I wouldn't put you on a difficult what I place you. I trust you. Trust yourself.
I do, baby.
All right? Rock and roll.
You got it.
But in a controversial, since-deleted scene, Chef Scott chose a very different tone, and very different words when he spoke to Josh about the upcoming service.
You fuck him over, I'm coming after you. You got it? You got it? You understand me? Look at my eyes. I am coming for you if you fuck him over. You got it?
That wasn't the only time that Scott was accused of being overly aggressive and potentially bullying towards the contestants. In Week 13 of Season 5, Gordon tested each of the final 3 contestants by asking them to run the pass during service. When line cook Andrea took her turn, she became very vocal, and Scott, who had taken her place on the fish station, felt she was deliberately nitpicking his work. After accepting halibut from him instead of John Dory, she was checking every item carefully, from presentation to seasoning. The last straw for Scott was when she asked him to redo some eggs, which had failed to meet her standards.
Are you sure?
I am sure. Get him on.
Okay. Go f yourself, you stupid. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna punch her in the face.
Fans were unimpressed by the physical threats and his use of the C word in the kitchen, though Ramsay and all the contestants continued to work, seemingly unaffected by his outbursts. In his last season, Scott seemed determined to show his sense of humor and acting skills when he invited the brand new contestants to prove their commitment to working with Gordon. He shared what happened the first time they had met.
I told him I wanted to work with him so bad that I would shave my head. This is what I looked like before I started working with Chef Ramsay.
Bringing in a barber's chair and a bald-headed Chef Andy, nervous heads went up to volunteer to do the same, and Scott grabbed the clippers. One male and one female contestant lost their locks before Gordon stepped in, and revealed that the 2 newly bald-headed contestants were really Scott's friends, and Chef Andy was actually wearing a latex head covering. During his years on Hell's Kitchen, Scott was the executive chef at Soleil at K in San Diego. In August 2012, Scott was offered the job of corporate chef at Fleetwood's restaurant in Maui. That's a long commute for even the most committed chef, so he walked away from the show. That wasn't the last time that Scott hit the screen, and it wasn't the last time he was visibly angry on it. Scott's wife, Christine, is an actor and director, and when she was working on the TV movie Lost and Found in 2013, she had the perfect role for her husband, Lexus driver. We're pretty sure that's typecasting, but it worked for her. These days, Scott shares beautiful images of his food creations online, along with photos of his homegrown fruit and veggies, and wines to pair with them. He is also working hard on the opening of a new restaurant in South Park, Charlotte, with details coming soon. And if you want to see more of Scott's greatest moments, you have an opportunity to do that in person.
Hi everybody, Chef Scott here. You know what I've been up to lately? Planning a trip to Portugal, and I want you to come with me. We're gonna stay in 5-star hotels, we're gonna eat local food, we're gonna drink great wine.
Yes, that's right. For just $3,400, you can enjoy a food tour of Portugal with the fiery chef himself. We just hope that nothing makes him angry.